To our nation's capital now, and a look at what's driving a big increase in mopeds on the streets. Many of them belong to migrants trying to earn a living, delivering food, but some people living in Washington say they are seeing erratic and unsafe behavior and worry that the surge in mopeds could mean a surge in crashes. Correspondent Evan Lambert live for us there in D.C. So, Evan, what are you seeing there?
Hey, Nichole. Well, typically around the lunch rush, this is what we're seeing. What you're seeing right behind me, you have drivers there waiting to take delivery orders, and just down the street, there's probably about 10 or more drivers on mopeds waiting to respond to that ding from their apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash and pick up a delivery order and drop it off somewhere else. It's really creating a path to independence for many immigrants who have recently come here to the U.S., but also some questions about regulations and rules of the road. Just yesterday, we met up with one of these immigrants newly arrived here to the U.S. His name is Samuel. He came here from Venezuela, a country, as you might know, that's undergoing an incredible political, economic, and humanitarian crisis. He told us that he came here seeking a better life, more opportunity. He's been delivering for Uber Eats and DoorDash for some 9 months now, and he says that the job allows him to care for himself and pay rent with friends in Maryland. It provides a level of flexibility, he says, a 9-to-5 job just wouldn't, and he's happy with the money he makes. It allowed him to buy a moped when he was delivering at first on foot and by bike, also to support his family at home. Listen.
This is a much better opportunity than working in a company, in my opinion. Why? Because, for example, I have access to what I make every day. If I make $100 today, I have access to those $100 instantly. What if I had an emergency in my country? I have a sick family member. For example, today, I had my grandmother sick. She has a problem with her arm. They had to take her out, get her checked, and cast her. And today, I had to send her the money all at once.
And in recent months, and in line with surges in asylum seekers arriving in cities like D.C., sometimes bused from states closer to the border, the mopeds do seem to be everywhere. The D.C. Department of Motor Vehicles telling NewsNation moped registrations here in the district skyrocketed 164% in fiscal year 2023. And many of the mopeds, though, do not appear to be registered legally. They require a license and insurance. We also saw several moped drivers riding in the bike lanes, which is not permitted. To be fair, cars and cyclists also don't always follow the rules of the road. But one elected official I spoke with recently had a run-in with a moped driver who hit his new car.
They're driving haphazardly. There is no kind of, instructions or guidance for even the users on what they're supposed to do legally. I think that is an area that we can definitely do better on. I have no problem with, folks using this to make a living, right? I mean, we're not here trying to tell them, no, don't do it. I think that's fine. They need to be, follow the rules that all of us have to.
And Samuel, the driver that we spoke with yesterday, the moped driver, said that he recently, police met with some of these moped drivers, telling them that they need to get their mopeds registered. He said that's something that he's happy to do. Nichole?
All right, so, Evan, speaking of following the rules, do we know if the majority of these drivers are legally allowed to work here and how the delivery companies like Uber and DoorDash are responding?
Nichole, that's a little bit of a complicated answer. So many of these drivers tell me they are from Venezuela, and because of that, they're eligible for humanitarian parole. That's a program that allows them to be in the country with temporary legal status and eligibility to work for a certain amount of time, typically around several years or so. So many of them do have that work authorization, and others, though, we are told, who do not have that work authorization have borrowed accounts from friends or relatives. That's something that both Uber and DoorDash tell us is against their platform. They tell us that they do everything they can to ensure that these drivers who are delivering for them are who they say they are. Nichole.
All right, Evan Lambert live for us there in D.C. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.